For today's show, I want to discuss what the Cowboys should do at the quarterback spot with Dak Prescott out. Who do you want to start at QB for the majority of the season? TL for Trey Lance, CR for Cooper Rush. I'm about to give you my answer and why, but I want to hear from you guys in the comments of today's show. I vote you start Trey Lance, and I got 5 different reasons and explanations why. The first one is at this point in your season, it is actually okay to try to figure out what the mystery box is. The mystery box could be anything. It could be a boat. It could be tickets to a comedy show. You're probably not going to get a boat. But you know what the Cooper Rush box is. We know what he is. And that's not necessarily a negative thing. There's a reason why he's been the quarterback 2 for this Dallas Cowboys team. There's also a reason why when he was a free agent, there was no tangible, real interest in him. Nobody wanted Cooper Rush to be their starter. Even when he was coming off a year where he won 4 games, a year before that too. Nobody asked him like, hey, let's make Cooper Rush our starter. Nobody wanted that. He is a fine game manager. He will weather the storm. He will be a little bit less accurate than your starter, but he's not going to be, in most cases, a back-breaking disaster. But we don't know what Trey Lance is. And Trey Lance could be more than that. He could also be worse than that. As we'll get into, is that necessarily that big of a downside at this point in the campaign? Trey Lance wasn't that great in the preseason, but it's really hard for a coaching staff to say he needs reps, he needs playing time, he needs chances. And then when you are presented with a fantastic chance to give said player the reps and the chances, he has not played enough football, and you don't take that chance, is that how you're supposed to, big picture-wise, handle things? I don't think so. Now, there are some downsides to this that we'll kind of get to here in a moment, but the mystery box angle, which wasn't a good argument when it was like he needs to start week 1 or he's your guaranteed 2025 starter, it does make sense when it's a conversation about him against Cooper Rush. So do you want to play Trey Lance? It is the pinned comment on today's show, so if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Go vote. Y for yes, N for no. Reason number 2. I think there are long-term benefits for at least trying this as a potential outcome. I think we can be honest here. Trey Lance is not going to steal this team's starting quarterback job. We'll come back to why I specified this team in a minute. But there is more upside here. The potential benefits you get of playing Trey Lance, seeing what he can be, are better than the Cooper Rush ones. The Cooper Rush range of outcomes, I think, is pretty well known. And it's a bit more in the middle of that bell curve. It's much more of a peak in the center, right? He'll manage the game. He'll be an average-ish NFL backup QB. I don't think he played bad at all against the Falcons. I don't think he was a reason why you lost that game. That was all the self-inflicted mistakes your offense and special teams and coaching staff made throughout that game. He's fine. Fine is not good enough for where this Cowboys team is at. Trey Lance, meanwhile, has a much wider range of outcomes. He could start to play to the potential that so many saw when I took him number 3 overall. Or, if he sucks, which is a possible outcome, well, then he's just your tank commander. That's not actually bad either way. Both of those outcomes can actually benefit you. Maybe he nets you a comp pick. Maybe if he plays well and the Raiders get desperate and say, Trey Lance, here's $25 million a year. Here's $20 million. Here's the Gardner Minshew deal all over again. Maybe he shows, I can be your backup QB. You're worried about your quarterback getting hurt again, which is a very valid concern to have. I told that to you guys when they signed into the deal, before they signed into the deal. That was my number one concern. Maybe he shows he can be your backup QB, and you can re-sign him to a relatively affordable deal and have a solid backup QB in. Or he sucks, and he's just not good, and he's a bust, and he's your tank commander, and you secure a top 10 pick. That's fine, actually. Now, some of your players might not like it, your coaching staff might not like it, but that's something we'll get to here in a second. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. It is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. It's available in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. It is the only real money daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. So your lineups stay in play even if one of your guys gets hurt. If a player goes down in the first half and does not return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. I also love their flex play. I can get one of these picks wrong and still cash. Garrett Wilson, more than receiving yards. I love the James Cook rushing yards line. That's just a number that seems silly low, 59.5. Also like Tyrone Tracy against the bad Panthers defense. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that's prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS. You don't even need to win to get the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. Now, a lot of the things we're discussing on today's show are a little bit more bigger picture arguments. One short-term argument is playing Trey Lance gives you running game upside. Your running game has not been very good. Trey Lance's mobility, his athletic ability, you saw it in the preseason. You saw it with San Francisco. His ability to do design quarterback stuff, do those read options, do those, options where you can even roll out and pass it as well. Like, you've got a ability to utilize his legs to help your offense and not have Cooper Rush be the one who does a read option in the red zone and fumble, recover it, and then fall down. Don't do that. A mobile quarterback pretty consistently across the board boosts your ground game. It makes it better. It also helps the offensive line, or at least the offensive line's sack numbers, which have not been very good this year. The PFF charted number is Dak has faced I think it's the 7th most pressure allowed only by the offensive line, so the quarterback doesn't get any blame for it. It's basically quick pressures, 7th most this year. Having not that mobile Cooper Rush is dangerous back there. Having athletic Trey Lance helps you. And think about the top teams on the ground this year. It's the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson. It's the Philadelphia Eagles with Jalen Hurts. It's the Washington Commanders with Jaden Daniels, who's able to run the ball, and they've all run the ball pretty well on top of that, beyond just the quarterback side of it. It's the Niners, who, of course, it's the 49ers. They have, the best run game in the NFL. The Green Bay Packers, they've also benefited from 8.6 yards per carry from Malik Willis when he's carried the ball 16 times this year. Plus, they're also a good ground game because Shanahan and LaFleur are some of my favorite coaches to watch from a design perspective on offense. Your run game sucks. Lance would help you. Now, that's different than the passing game, potential downside, whatever. The run game angle, very real. I don't want you guys to miss out on any Cowboys coverage, so we will always be free here at the Cowboys Report. All you have to do is turn those noties on. Don't miss any Cowboys YouTube video. Number 4, the organizational plan. And I think this is essential. You need to figure out what you want to accomplish. There are, and I think understandably correctly, there's a lot of different parts of this team. The coaches, the players, various scouts, ownership, that probably don't want to give up on this campaign. That they are not under contract in 2025. They are fighting for their jobs. They have mortgages to pay. So I understand if their desire is to play the guy that they think is better. I get that. Is that more important than the big picture? Maybe you're doing the coaching staff dirty if you force them to play a particular quarterback. Okay, I get it. It happens. But you need to decide what matters more to you, big picture, as an organization. I get why McCarthy and company might prefer Cooper Rush. He will take the things that are on time. You can go back and watch all of our Trey Lance preseason stuff. Stuff was there. Stuff was on time. He wouldn't take it. It's the same reasons why Cooper Rush has been quarterback too. If you just want someone to execute the offense, I think Cooper Rush can do that. I also think that if your plan is, hey, Cooper Rush is going to save the season, outside of drastic better impacts from your defense, if it's going to happen, it's Ewing theory, it happens all the time, that seems unfair. Your front office, your organization, has to do some self-scouting here. They need to realize season's not going well. The 3% playoff odds from ESPN without Dak Prescott are not wrong. They were 6% before that. That's not a good thing. Your season was already on the ropes. You were already tucked into bed. Now they turn off the lights and said good night. Your season's cooked. It is. You might not want to admit it, but that's where we're at. They might give you the occasional false hope here, but you're not in a good spot. So is the Cowboys season over, the 2024 campaign? 1 for yes, 0 for no. Number 5, the sunk cost fallacy. If you don't know what the sunk cost fallacy is, it's basically you do something because you already paid for it. Maybe you don't want to do it, but you've already invested in it, so you're going to keep doing it. That's it. I've seen the argument of you made the trade for Trey Lance, you can't waste a 4th-round pick and not play him. You already wasted the 4th-round pick in the end. Look, the Trey Lance trade hasn't been good. I think we can all admit that. Just playing him so you can say you played him doesn't really mean anything to me. The race has already been run. You're probably never going to get proper return on the value that you gave up there. It happens. It's fine. You miss on picks. You miss on trades. It's bad when you only use the draft to address talent in most cases, and it makes it worse when you don't do anything else. That's not really a good reason to play him, to try to get something from your trade. But I think he should play, so I'm fine using that as an argument. I will ignore everything I just said and say, you know what, it's fine. Not an issue. Get something for him. See what he can do. Now that I don't think is the sunk cost fallacy. I just want to know what my young guys have across the board. That's not just true for Trey Lance. That's true for a lot of young players on this team. This is the time to show what they're able to do.